a chip installed in his brain. And it has people in the comments wondering why. Let's look at this video and y'all pay attention to this guy, how he reacts, how he responds, his body language, and his facial expressions. Just pay attention.
Do you have any side effects?
No, I don't have any side effects.
Do you have any?
I don't have any.
Can you feel it?
I can't feel it. I was able to do it, and then I did it.
And how long did that take you?
That took me about a week.
And then you went home and...
I practiced at home.
And so what do you think the biggest benefit of this is?
The biggest benefit is that it's going to help people with spinal cord injuries and people with Parkinson's disease and people with epilepsy and people with depression, anxiety, and all these different things. Okay. I could still move the mouse with my mind.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I had. It's actually pretty cool.
Is it like a chip?
It's a small chip, yeah.
So I'm curious about the device itself, the actual... How long did it take you to get used to it?
It was a process, it took a few months to really get comfortable with it, but now it's just part of me, in my head.
Can you show us?
Can you show me where? Right here. So the future is going to be amazing. We're going to be able to do so.
Here's my question. If this chip is going to be able to help people with spinal cord injuries, anxiety, depression, my question is, since you got the chip installed in your brain, do you have any of those things? What it seems to me is you don't have any of those things. So how do you know that getting that chip installed in your brain is going to help with those things? On top of that, his responses, nah. Y'all better pay attention, man. They showing you what they about to do. They showing you who they are. It's right here in front of our faces. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like and follow for more. This guy decides to get a chip installed in his brain.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories unto Yahweh Baal Shem, Yahweh Shai, Baal Shem, HaKadosh. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. They're doing it real well. Peace and blessings be unto the elect. This is Brother Dawada from the GMS Detroit camp, coming at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Baal Shem, Yahweh Shai, Baal Shem, HaKadosh. Today we're to do another in transit. Today we're going to be going into this short clip that you saw at the beginning of this lesson. And we'll do this video be edifying to the elect. Alright, now you heard the opening clip. They're talking about this individual, this Jake, or what appears to be a Jake, that ended up getting micro C-hipped. Alright, and he's talking about how it's going to help people do this, it's going to help people do that, help people with Parkinson's disease, and help people with depression, anxiety, so on and so forth, spinal cord injuries, which they show you that in the movie. I think it's called STEM, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was called Upgrade. It was called Upgrade, and I believe the company within the movie that was behind that micro C technology, or that implantable technology, was called STEM. Which STEM is supposed to be like a shorthand way of saying science. What's the T? I think the T is technology, engineering, and math, if I'm not mistaken. It's called an acronym. But I think that they really were saying STEM as in for, standing for, of course, that, science, technology, engineering, and math, because they need all that in order to develop this technology. But also, the brain stem, so they call it the brain stem within the body, So, I think of that as well. But anyways, here it is. This Jake, he got chipped, all right, and ultimately, he has these different, what looks to be reporters or whatever, they're chopping it up with him and asking him about it and whatnot. And he's okay with it. And I believe that this guy was set up. He probably got paid to do it. Either that or he's juiced in. Or both. Because what person is actually just, it ain't even in the hand, it's in his brain. Within his head. Like, who does that voluntarily out of nowhere? So, that leads me to think that guy is probably set up, And I would even go so far as to say, who knows if the whole scene is set up. as far as those reporters asking him about it. Did he really get, that device put into his head? Or are they using, different forms of technology to make it appear so? Because we already know during the C-19, this devil was using retractable needles. And here it is, it's supposed to be a live session of some type of politician or, public figure. So good. Supposed to be some public figure getting, juiced. But here it is, the needle is retractable. It goes back in. It never pierces the skin. And they got exposed for doing that. For using retractable needles. And now here you go. This individual, right, is all of a sudden C-hipped, and it didn't look like he was depressed before. He ain't mentioned that he was anxious. He had Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, some spinal cord injury. Nothing. He's a perfectly healthy individual that did it. But ultimately, this is all leading up to Revelation 13 and 16. He calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, and we go through that scripture many a time. You have these certain Israelite groups that are saying, "Oh, well, no, it's a philosophy." How could the mark of the beast be a philosophy? Here it is. The beast is whom? They'll agree that the beast, all right, that the beast is not anything positive, all right. These different groups, they'll agree with that. That the beast is not something that's there to help people and whatnot. Which the beast is the system, all right, or rather, the image is the system, all right. The beast, all right, represents the Roman Empire, all right, or rather, the dragon represents the Roman Empire, all right. The scriptures speak about the beast having 7 heads and 10 horns. That's America, NATO, and the EU, which America is part of NATO, all right. So the beast having 7 heads and 10 horns, that's America, NATO, and the EU, which America is part of NATO. The dragon is the Roman Empire, all right, and the image is this Romanized system, all right. And the mark is this digital C-hip. That's what everything's ultimately leading up to. Now the apostles did a video, right, during this street speaking video, all right. They went into, asking ChatGPT about the digital, the 4th industrial revolution. Is the micro C-hip a part of it? So on and so forth. And Chat was agreeing, yeah, it's a part of it. We at the end of this thing, it ain't the time to be wishy-washy on what the mark of the beast is. The mark of the beast is this digital technology. That's why these different individuals keep saying, look, this is for the future. This is for the future. Now, recently, as of late, there's been more and more reports about an increase in data centers being built. Why is that? You have to have these different data centers to run this mark of the beast technology. All right? The mark of the beast, all right, that's the hardware, meaning the physical item, the physical thing. But then you need something called software, all right, which would be like your programming and whatnot, all right, the programming, the different data centers, the different things that's going to handle the non-physical, all right, your software, what's going to house the data, what's going to collect the data, what's going to interpret the data. That's why they're building these different AI super centers, these big old data centers, because they're preparing the world for this digital system, all right? This digitalized system. Now, earlier today, I was looking through an article on Reuters, all right, which Reuters is pretty good for news. I would recommend it, all right? There was an article on Reuters, which, by the way, this is in transit. There was an article on Reuters speaking about how China was helping South Africa, right? And I believe it's at the Congo, or was it Kenya? I can't remember. but pretty much China is teaming up with certain African nations in order to improve their technology, to improve in their technology. And why is that? Because they're getting the world ready for this digital empire, this digital system, which just a few weeks ago, DJ Trump, about 2 weeks ago, I want to say, DJ Trump visited the leader of China, all right? He visited the leader of China. He took different tech companies with him, all right? One of them being, I believe, the CEO of NVIDIA, which they make different graphic cards, all right? Took big wigs from these different major companies, from certain banking companies as well. I believe Chase was there. What's the other one? Goldman Sachs. They were there, the Goldman Sachs specializes in digital, in their digital software for their online banking. That's their thing. I don't think there are any physical Goldman Sachs locations. The reason why, this devil invited and took these different bigwigs over there is because they are necessary for the advancement of this digital age, which they're trying to bring about, to merge man with machine. Watch the series Black Mirror, watch the series Altered Carbon. This is what everything is going into or leading to, which is why we as the hopeful elect prophets of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua are barking. We're barking our heads off. All right, whereas these other groups, they're just la-di-da, just watching. It's entertaining to be an Israelite. It's fun. You can have your Passover festivals. You can have your different, barbecues and cookouts. You can invite the sisters. But here it is, when this digital system is brought forth and comes to pass, these jakes, they're going to be caught with their pants down. And they're going to wish that they had spent more time listening to the correct message. When you read Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, it says within I believe the NLT, it says, go and carry the correct message. All right, roughly paraphrasing. All right. Where it says, make it plain upon tables. I think within the NLT, that's the version that says, to go and preach the correct message or carry the correct message. Because you got to be on point within this thing. All right. Here it is, that one group, ICGJC, I believe it was. They were at Bike Week in South Carolina. Elder Manata Zagbaf, came across him and asked him what the mark of the beast was. And they didn't want to give an answer. They were, dancing. They were dancing around it. Oh, well, you know what? You going to have to come to the class. Don't the scriptures say be apt to teach? Don't the scriptures also say be always ready to give an answer? All right? But these individuals, they don't apply the scriptures. All they know is they're an Israelite, they got their fringes, and that's it. A lot of groups are just just like that, straight to the point. They're not deep within the scriptures. They don't want to search the scriptures. They don't want to examine their leaders. All right. But this is the state of the world, and this is why ultimately, when that thing comes to pass, that device, these jakes within these different groups, they're gonna scramble. A lot of people are gonna scramble because they ain't gonna know what to do. All right. So with that, I'm gonna leave it there. Lord's will, this is edifying. I'm gonna give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua Baal Shem Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of your millstone. They're doing even well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the members of the elect, the hopeful elect, and the 1/3. With that being said, Shalom, Barak Akim. If you still listen, Shalom.